Welcome to Vision Forward's Tech Connect Live, connecting you to the world of assistive technology. And now, here are your hosts, Cory and Luke.
I am Cory.
And who is the other person? He's not listening.
We unmuted his microphone. Do you have your microphone on, sir?
Yes, but I'm checking our audio.
Oh, okay.
Doing important
Yes,
things.
he's producing.
While Cory and I just mess around on the set.
That's about right.
I didn't know you were going to call on me.
Well, if
You should always
be ready. Doesn't
Part of
matter.
your job, Jonathan, is to be ready for any eventuality.
Yep. You never, even if your hand's not raised, we're going to call on you.
Even if you're not even here, we will call on you. Hello, everybody.
We are ready to call on you.
We are.
Everyone.
We are calling on the audience to say hello and good morning.
I just called to say.
I love you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Who's that by?
That is by Lionel Richie.
Oh,
Used to be the lead singer of the Commodores.
really? I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure it is actually. Now I'm talking all like I know what I'm doing.
Confident.
Sometimes that's what you just do is you just sound confident and then you hope the person doesn't look it up.
Seems like you've been taking lessons from AI there, Cory. Just as long as you say it confidently, you can say whatever you want and people will believe it.
Pretty much. Put it in the comments. Do you like Lionel Richie? And no, that's not Lionel. It's Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
No, it's Stevie
Cory.
Wonder.
I am so disappointed that you
is
didn't
Stevie
get
Wonder.
that right.
But I got it in before someone else corrected me.
That is a good
Actually,
one.
I think it's Stevie Wonder. Put it in the comments if you know who sings I Just Called to Say I Love You.
Also, put it in the comments if you had the Commodore 64.
What is that?
It's a.
Well, I mean, I know what it is, but what?
Oh, you do know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Old school computing device.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you knew that.
I never had one though. I mean, I was too young. We had I think we've had this conversation already.
Let's have it
So correct me if I'm wrong. What was your first gaming device?
Specifically for gaming? Because we had PCs.
Yeah.
from a
Let's
young
go
age.
specifically for gaming.
Super Nintendo.
Super. Oh wow, that is okay.
Yeah.
Mine was a Nintellivision.
It was a cross between a Nintendo and an Intellivision?
It was maybe.
Oh, an Intellivision.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Nintellivision.
No, Intellivision.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. What always made me laugh. I could see back then.
Yeah.
But what always made me laugh is like the games. I still have this perfect memory of the baseball game. It was a black cartridge.
Yeah.
And then on the end, in blue background, and then just white, just said baseball.
Yeah.
That's all the games.
I mean, it's
were.
kind of like the Atari 2600
Yeah.
style. Yeah. Put it in the chat what your favorite game console was or is.
Yeah.
Indeed. Is it the Intellivision? I certainly hope not. I think we can do better these days.
I would hope so.
Did anybody buy a Nintendo Switch too? Put it in the chat and let us know. Although the chat is seeming very quiet today, Jonathan. You're not Jonathan. I just called you Jonathan. Sorry.
Oh.
No, Cory. Hi, Cory.
Hi.
We only have Alicia in there at the moment.
Come on,
Hello to Jonathan, Luke, and Cory. Greetings from Rockford, Illinois.
Greetings, Alicia. Thank you for
If
joining us.
Alicia is the only person watching the show right now.
Wow. Should she feel special? Or
Yes.
should we feel sad? Or both, I guess, at the same time.
Alicia, if you are the only person watching the show, then put in the chat exactly what you want us to talk about today.
Oh.
And
We could do a Ask Me Anything.
Yeah, we can do an AMA with Alicia driving the engine.
Sure.
We should get Alicia on the show just to host the show one time.
That, you know what?
We could be the audience members.
We should. For people who always come to our shows that are, committed.
Yeah, so Alicia.
Yeah. So we can do one show where we have somebody.
I like it. Jonathan put in the chat that his first gaming system was the Nintendo 64, which makes me feel really old.
Which one had the famous James Bond GoldenEye? Was that
N64?
64?
Yep.
I remember in college that's all people played.
That was
it
the
was
big-
like
the
the
big thing.
biggest, biggest
Well, the
game.
good news is, Cory, that you can still play that game
Oh,
on the Nintendo Switch.
wonderful. Same thing? Same GoldenEye?
Same GoldenEye. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do that after the show. We did do a gaming related show one time. It was about accessibility on the Xbox.
Yeah, we played, I think, Street Fighter?
Yeah, I believe you won a game and I won one game too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Cory's tactic is what in the trade we would call button mashing.
I am a button masher. Although, no, I've been playing Mortal Kombat. No. Yeah, I think Mortal Kombat with my son on the Xbox.
That scene
And
was inappropriate.
And I've been...
Have you seen the finishing moves in that game?
Yes, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But he's 14, so. But I learned just one finishing move, and then that's all I will just keep trying to do. Do that.
Exactly. Yeah. If it works, it works. Alicia says the floor is ours, so unfortunately we do have to run the show.
But we have a topic today.
We do, but also Alicia says that it was Stevie Wonder,
Good.
not Lionel Richie.
Thank God I changed my mind. What I was thinking was there's that other Lionel Richie, the Have I Told You Lately That I Love You?
Can we just turn this into a musical
That was
show
the
with
song
Cory
I was
singing
originally
songs?
was thinking.
What was the one with the head that he's doing in clay?
What?
You know the famous song.
I have no idea.
Apparently, it's Rod Stewart who sings "Have I Told You Lately That I Love You."
No.
Nice try, Cory.
She no, Alicia agree with it. Have a. Oh wait. Oh, the second one. The second one. What's the one I'm thinking? So there's something about Lionel Richie. Something about calling. Have I called you lately? Or
Yeah, that's to do with the head that he's making out of clay.
Is that the same one? What's that song then? Call.
Let me.
Late.
Call me maybe.
It's something.
So call me maybe.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Is it "I Call It Love"?
No, it's something about.
Look up the video
Have
with
I
the
called
clay
you?
head. Look at the video where he's.
Search that.
Yeah, no, just search that. The video where he's making the head out of clay. It's really.
It's a whole. It's a real slow. Yeah, why can't I think of that? Now, well,
He makes his own head out of clay
to do what with it? To give it
to
to.
show to a girl. Yeah,
That's
including a big like clay mustache.
That's the creepiest thing I ever saw.
So it is specifically creating a clay sculpture for a blind student.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about that part.
Yeah.
I swear it's called Lately.
No, what's that song called?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello. That's it.
Is it me you're looking for?
That's the
it.
song.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd forgotten about
Wow.
there was actually a blind aspect to that song.
Oh, well, now we see people. You think we just randomly talk and look at. We came right back around to blind.
It always
topic.
comes around
Sure.
to
Way to go,
blindness.
Lionel Richie. We appreciate you representing the blind community. And
Well, he himself is not blind,
his
but
horrible song.
he's doing it for the people.
he is doing it for the blind people. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. Nobody in my life has ever made me a clay head. So, you know what? I appreciate Lionel Richie going through that trouble.
Yeah. Can we call Lionel?
What was his
Can
thought?
we get
Is that-
Lionel on the show?
So he'd like give it to the blind artist or person,
Yes.
student, and she would
So she-
feel his face?
I guess, but
Without
thinking about
actually-
that now, it's really stupid. Why didn't she just feel his actual face?
Well, and also the whole trope of feeling faces is
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, you say that, Cory, but the first time we met, you had your hands all over my face. I was like, Cory, I did not give you permission
I like
for this.
handlebar mustaches.
All right, on that note, let's do something else for the blind community and talk about iOS 26.
Today's a humdinger, people.
Today is a humdinger. Well, the problem is, Cory, that if people don't put anything in the chat, then we just, we
riff.
We don't have the necessary energy and motivation to.
I'm feeling very weird today, though, too.
You are? It's because it's nearly July 4th.
And that might be it. I'm off next week.
You're scared of the fireworks.
All right, so
iOS 26. So the point of the show is iOS 26 is coming out for those in the what do they call it? Developer program or whatever. They already have it. So I signed up for the developer program, and I have iOS 26 on my iPhone.
Okay.
Cory has not tried it yet.
I've not read about it. I've not
you don't
tried
know
it.
about it.
I don't know anything about 26.
And it will release, in the fall, I guess?
Yeah, typically September, October-ish time, I assume it'll come out.
General release September, October. But what we're going to do, we're going to test Cory because some things have changed.
Yeah.
And we're going to test Cory and see how easy it is for him to figure out how to use some of the apps that have changed.
And I think, sometimes people have fear about updating to a new version, especially going from like one main version to a next. Sometimes if you do those point 1, point 2, you don't really see a lot of changes, but going from iOS 16, is that where we're at now?
Yes.
Yeah, 16 to 26. That's a 10 version jump.
That is a 10 version jump. Big changes.
But people sometimes get worried about like what are they changing, and so we want to show what it's like and maybe some tips on how to figure out what's changed and work through it. So
we should point out for those who don't know that it is a jump from iOS 16 to 26, but that's only because they started naming iOS after the year instead of after the, what would you call that? The
version number.
Yeah, the version number.
Which we'll see. I mean, that's what they're doing now, and I bet you in 3 years they're going to switch back again because I think they just do that. This is I wouldn't be shocked.
But they've been doing version number for 16 times in a row now. So.
Yeah, but I think
Why did they jump from the iPhone 8 to the 10?
We talked about this.
That's a good question.
Hold on, Jonathan's saying it was a Chinese thing.
We did talk about this, where there was particular concerns about the naming conventions for that system and how well it would be able to be marketed in an Asian.
But what was the reason for that, though?
I think there's some association with that actual number, like the translation for that number.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's interesting. I like the way that Jonathan started that by throwing shade at us. He was like, you did know that we talked about this before.
Well, you've spoken about this.
It's like, hey, you guys are just repeating yourselves.
Luke, you're the one who gave us the whole end. You had a whole paragraph, a dissertation right now. You don't remember any of it.
Well, I have to admit my memory's quite bad, so that could be true. All right, well, let's test Cory. So the first test, Cory, is going to be to turn on VoiceOver.
All right, let's do that. So I'm going to triple click our button. Hopefully you got it set up. So this is a little trick. I'll be completely honest with everybody because that's the way I roll. I always have my triple click to VoiceOver, but you have a number of accessibilities features set up in the menu.
I do.
So when you hit it, the menu pops up, but it doesn't speak. I was not aware that you could just put your finger on the screen and it would still read things to you. I was an idiot.
Smart invert select VoiceOver
There it
selected.
is.
VoiceOver on.
Oops, good.
Photo.
All right, we're good.
Cory, you just opened a picture of my wife with my cat. That's hilarious.
Close that quick.
Cory, who taught you?
You did,
Oh.
Master.
Oh, it feels good.
iOS Master.
I'm so glad we're recording this.
Oh,
I can
yeah,
just
sure.
watch that back whenever I want.
Yep, whenever you're feeling bad about yourself. you're good.
Exactly.
All right, so
All
we
right.
have VoiceOver going. So obviously we're going to be doing this from a VoiceOver perspective, but if you're low vision, obviously most of this stuff is going to be the same.
I mean, visually, hopefully, if you're low vision, you'll be able to see on the screen how stuff is laid out. Now, so Cory, that part was the same as it would have been before iOS 26?
Yep.
So far, so the same. So now let's look at something, first of all, that has changed.
Okay.
And that's going to be the phone application.
Okay.
Now, just before we do this, kind of crazy that they changed the phone application since it is one of the, you would have thought, most fundamental applications on the phone. You know?
Yeah, and I'm curious if this was a case of changing something for the sake of change.
That's how I feel about
versus,
it.
Actually what value. So
exactly.
I'll be curious if there is a difference and then kind of judge.
Well, let's find out. So first task is to open the phone app.
I don't know if you've moved yours. Mine's in the bottom.
Talk. Phone.
No, mine's
Oh
yours.
my
in the
goodness
same
me.
To open.
Amazing.
All right, good. So,
Edit.
real quick, the way the phone app had been laid out in the past, most people probably already know this is a pretty common pretty common app layout where you have tabs going across the bottom. In the phone case, there was 5 tabs: favorites, recents, contacts, keypad, and voicemail. And whatever you chose down there would then determine what was shown on the screen itself.
That is correct. Okay, so first of all, Mr. Ballard, I would like you to find for me, please, the recent calls.
Okay, so what I'd first do, obviously, is just go down and see if it's where it always has been. So that was the second tab. Now, I'm thinking maybe something's changed. So I'm actually going to touch it down the bottom left corner to the first tab, if they're down there still, and then just kind of go from there.
Tab bar. Selected. Calls. Tab. 1 of 4.
All right, so automatically, I hear some changes. First of all, the bottom now says calls.
Now, what would it say there before in that bottom left
Before
corner?
would have been favorites.
Okay.
And I hear that there's 4 tabs instead of 5. So that tells
goody
me
is.
that we've lost a tab, or it's been combined.
Well, should we find out what tabs we have now then?
That was be the next. So we have calls.
Contacts. Tab. Keypad. Tab. Search. Tab. 4 of 4.
Oh, so we have calls, contacts, keypad, and search. So we actually have 2 new things here. We have calls and search are 2 new tabs that have not been here in the past.
Was there the possibility of search? I mean, I know you could search your contacts, for example, but was there the possibility of just what is this search searching? Is it just searching everything?
Yeah, I think it's gonna. My guess is it's searching your entire phone, so your recent calls, your voicemail.
That could be nice.
That's my guess. Is what they're doing.
I would guess.
And it used to be, I believe, there used to be a search up at the top of the screen.
For each individual tab, though. So each tab had its own search.
I
and now
believe
it's just
so.
a unified search.
I believe so.
That actually seems good.
Yeah, I'd be curious to try it. I'm not a big search. It's very rare I use a search. Maybe in email I use it most often. But okay, so looking at these 4 tabs, we are looking for recents, you said, right?
Yes, please.
So that would, obviously things are different. So my first guess is it's going to be under the calls tab. I'm assuming, real quickly, since we've lost recents and voicemail and favorites, I'm assuming they've all been lumped under calls. Is my guess. But how they've done it, I'm not really sure. So let's go back to calls.
Selected. Calls. Tab. Selected.
Now, it was,
Calls. Tab.
it said
1 of
selected
4.
already, so I actually didn't have to double tap on it.
Yes.
But I did because it's
Why not?
habit and I can't help it. So, all right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top of the screen.
Call from. Calls. Heading.
And I usually start at the heading of the top just to make sure I know where I am. And usually that means I'm at the top. Nothing's above me, really. And at this point, I'm going to now start to swipe just to sort of get an idea of what's going on the screen. I'm hoping maybe there's some options here to filter what you're seeing, but we'll see.
Filter. Button.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, there you go.
What a genius.
We'll probably come. I'm going to keep going past this just so I have a better idea of what the screen looks like, though.
Call from. 4 1.
Okay. Now, hopefully you don't have numbers here that we shouldn't be showing.
There are numbers, but I think it's okay.
Okay. Please be nice, people. Okay, so I'm jumping right into calls here, and that said call from. So I'm guessing I'm basically seeing our recents right now. I'm guessing that's the default.
No.
No,
Let
okay.
me tell you what this is.
Okay.
The calls list will show all calls, no matter if they're outgoing, ingoing, missed.
Yep.
Everything.
Okay, that's how recents was.
Oh.
Unless you changed it. By default, it showed you all of them.
Well, so okay.
So the recent.
But this will also show you voicemail.
That's what I'm saying. So there's no, at this point, I don't know where voicemail is.
Yes.
Which is a real.
So the calls list is an amalgamation of all calls plus voicemails.
And I'm assuming it does it in chronological.
Correct.
Don't like that.
No, me neither.
If I'm going to check my voicemail, I want to check my voicemail.
Right.
So I'm assuming
Why make it difficult to find?
if I wanted to just see voicemail, I'm guessing I can go to filter.
Filter.
Yes.
And now
Classic.
choose.
Select classic.
Well, okay. So right away, this first choice here, I see classic. My guess is that's going to allow me to switch it back to what it used to be.
Correct.
Now, we'll try that, but first I'm going to go past.
Selected. Unified. Button.
Okay, so it's telling us unified, so
Yeah,
obviously it's
everything
putting them all
together.
together.
Selected. Calls. Button. Missed. Button. Voicemail. Button.
So now if I choose voicemail,
Voicemail.
I'm guessing,
Call from +1. Voicemail. Heading.
now you can see the heading has changed to voicemail.
Yep.
So you can, I'm just trying, what I'm trying to think is from a tap standpoint. For voicemail in the past, you would tap just the voicemail. Now you have to tap filter, then tap voicemail, if you keep it in this way. May I switch yours to classic mode real quick?
please do,
Just to see?
sir.
All right, let's go to filter again.
Selected. Filter. Selected. Call from +1. Selected. Filter.
And let's do classic.
Button. Dismiss contact call
So
from
now, if I go down to the bottom, does it switch the tabs down there?
tab bar. Favorites.
Yep.
Tab.
Oh.
Selected. Calls. Contacts. Tab.
So
3
this
of
is what I
5.
find interesting. Okay. To me, this is a change for the sake of change, especially if they give you a way to switch it back. What is the point of introducing something like, be confident, if you're going to make a change, be confident with it.
Well, also,
get,
what's the point of the change?
Less visually on the screen, you have 4 tabs instead of 5.
I can't imagine how that would make a difference to anybody's life. I do like the unified search.
Yeah.
That seems like a cool feature. But yeah.
And I'm guessing that now that they've created a unified calls section, making the unified, that's maybe why there's a search down there now, because they can easily do a unified search.
Yes.
I just don't understand. Again, I just don't get why you would give someone the. I mean, I appreciate giving the ability to go back, but to me now from a training standpoint, what I don't like is it starts to
Muddy the waters.
Yeah, like you have now. Some people want it this way. Some like. The example I give is when Microsoft released the ribbons, when they switched to the ribbon menu, screen reader users hated it because it was new and actually not even screen reader, just people in general hated the ribbon. But JAWS would have this virtual ribbon menu option where you could turn it on and then it switched the menus back to sort of your classic pull-down menus. But I disagree with letting your assistive technology change the layout, because what happens if JAWS gets rid of the virtual?
And now
anyways,
no, I completely agree with you.
So anyways, here's a good example though of coming into an app that is a fundamental app, like you said, something that you're usually you kind of know it inside and out.
Yes.
And boom, you go down to find what you want, and you immediately see it's changed.
Now, you did a very quick and efficient job of figuring out the new layout, but obviously VoiceOver users who are not so confident and competent as you are going to struggle, most likely.
I think so, but I want people to kind of pay attention to the way I sort of, I don't want to say analytically, but the way I went through it. I went down and touched something where I thought something would be, realized it was not there, and then utilize those headings at the top of the screen. It really can help out, especially in the beginning when you're trying to determine what is being shown on the screen. The heading up there, I mean, it's there for a reason. Visually, people immediately see it, and it's helpful from a VoiceOver standpoint. You've got to go up and touch there. But I just always find that to be a great home base to start your swiping from there.
Yeah.
Because you just know that there's really nothing to the left, swipe-wise.
You're at the top.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, well, good job with that. Let's close out the phone up, please, sir.
Okie dokie.
Very good.
Dog. Mail.
And
1007.
next we will...
1,700.
Yeah, I have a few unread.
My wife refuses to. First of all, her email or her text. She only reads texts when they show up on the little notification, which is only like half of the text. So I've learned I have to send if it's a long text, I have to break it into multiple texts.
She refuses to open the mail?
If you look at her messages app, she'll have like 600 and some unread text messages.
Why?
Because she only reads them from
why?
I don't know.
That's...
I don't. And then her email, she has an account in there that she never checks, so her email is like 99 thousand something.
goodness.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continue. Like it drives me when I hear that number.
I promise you, my emails. This is my like managed number. As in, like, I'm not just leaving them, like, I'm literally, like, opening and reading them.
Do you get that many spam? Is it all spam?
I think it's all emails from the past, because this email account I've had for a long time.
Okay.
So it's ones over time, which for some reason I haven't opened, and now I'm not going to, like, go back through years of emails.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay, continue.
Let's open the emails.
Okay, let's do it. What are we just on it?
Phone, mail, 1000.
Okay.
Please
Mail,
write
Gmail,
a new
back
email.
button.
All right. Do you have? I heard it say Gmail back button. So that's telling me that most likely you probably have multiple. You may have multiple accounts set up on your mail, probably a work and a personal.
Yep.
And it said Gmail, so most likely we're inside your personal email. So I'm just going to stay in here for now.
Yes.
Now back in the old iOS 16, I believe the Compose button was down in the bottom right corner, if I remember correctly. It's been a bit since I. Remember you did it, but let's go find out.
Toolbar, new message, button.
Oh,
Still there.
so now it says new message. It
not
used to say compose.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a
So
weird
if I double tap,
Two, text field. Two,
and this looks like
we don't need to do this, because this is all the
that's
same.
all the same. Okay, good.
cancel, button.
We'll get out of there.
How about if I wanted to search my emails?
So back in the day, back in the old iOS 16 days, there was a search edit field, an edit box usually right below the main heading.
1509 unread. Heading, unread. Jimmy John.
But now that goes, so that goes right in. So when I swipe once from the heading, I'm going right into the email.
Where did the search go?
Where did the search go? So let's use, if we think about this.
Do we have to?
No.
Thinking this out.
If it's not at the top, you sort of know it's not going to be in the middle. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So if it's not at the top, you can assume that most likely it's at the bottom. And they probably have done it in one of two ways. Okay. Either there is a dedicated search tab like we saw in the phone app, or there's going to be a floating edit search box down at the bottom, kind of right above your tabs going across the bottom of the screen. That's what I'm guessing it probably is.
Well, should we put your guesswork into practice here?
Touch down here.
Slate Digital, the search field.
Yay.
Oh my
So I
God.
touched kind of right above where the tab list was, so almost at the bottom of the screen, and found the search down there. So for whatever reason, they've decided to move the search from the top down to the bottom.
They sure did. Now, Corey, what if we wanted to filter the old emails there?
Well, that's interesting because I would have immediately gone up to sort of the right corner around there for filter, but we obviously didn't see anything in the top right corner because it went from the heading. I'm just going to check I already know the top left corner is our back button.
Inbox, heading, more, button.
So I swiped left from this heading and got a more
headings,
button.
and you were not on the main heading.
I see that.
1500.
Why is there two headings?
Heading.
Why would it give you...
No idea.
Well, maybe because it's only showing you it's only showing you I don't know,
Inbox,
whatever.
heading.
All right, here we go. So we're gonna go to more. I'm guessing it's in this more button here, so we'll double tap.
Categories. List view.
So we can choose from categories, list view.
About categories. Selected. Show contact photos. Select. Button. Dismiss context. Dismiss context.
Okay, so that's it in there.
No filters there.
No. Okay, so let's go and dismiss out of here.
Dismiss context menu.
All right, so not in the more. So now I'm going to jump down to the bottom. So because I pretty much saw everything on top here, right?
More. Gmail.
Yep, Gmail back.
Inbox.
Yep, okay. Nothing at top, so let's come down to the bottom instead. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that search field. Because I don't know if there is a filter button in between the search and the bottom tabs. So I'm going to find that just to be
Slate
safe.
Digital. The search.
Now I'm going to
field.
swipe right.
Dictate button. Compose button. Compose button.
No. Now why is it saying compose
Double
instead
tap
of
and
new
hold to
message?
bring-
That's a very good question. That's wild.
If I touch down,
Slate toolbar. Compose button.
That's-
Scriven.
that is
Compose
wild.
button.
yeah, now it's gone. It's not
I
new
think
message
Mr.
anymore.
Cook is watching the show and changing things on the fly here.
Am I wrong? I mean, did it not say
It
new
said new
message?
message. It 100% said new
Chris
message.
Scriven. Ozzy Osbourne and Blacks.
Okay, here's something weird. Why if I touch here,
Slate
almost
digit,
at the
compose
bottom, I get this
button.
compose.
Yep.
Below
Tap
that,
and hold Chris Scriven.
Oh,
I'm
well,
getting
that's because...
What is that down there?
That's because with the new design system, there is no defined tab bar per se. There are floating things. Now, that's not the case actually in the phone app, but in general, there are floating things. For example, a floating search box, a floating compose button. Rather than being in a specific tab bar, they're floating on top of what's behind
So
them.
I was almost, when I go below it, I'm almost touching what it's floating over.
Yeah, you're looking at what's
I hate
floating
that.
on top of. Yeah,
I do not like it.
But visually, it makes sense. I understand why VoiceOver is doing it like that, but yeah. So,
No. Okay, so
Chris Scriven.
That's-
Aussie Bandcamp.
That's me, Dad.
Unread. Wave Machine. Unread. Airbnb.
It's like
Reservation reminder.
All right, now, Cory, let me stop you a second.
Dictate.
Yeah, I got it.
Where are the most important parts of an app usually located?
Well, here's the answer. You can't filter an email. Sorry, guys. Let's move on. I'm just kidding.
Let's try that
Well,
again.
it's usually on the bottom.
In the corners, right?
Yeah.
In the corners. Okay, so what corner have you not checked yet?
Checked all the corners.
Yes, what
Bottom
corner
left,
you-
I guess.
Yeah, bottom left. Exactly.
Toggle filter. Michael.
There it was.
Toggle filter.
So-
Michael Foster.
But here's the
Toolbar.
problem.
Toggle filter. Michael Wave Machine left.
So you've almost lost the ability to swipe.
Well, you could find the
Because
search and
if
swipe
I-
from there, right?
No, I tried.
Go to the
Foster
left
search.
from the search.
Toggle filter.
There you go.
Off. Button.
Yeah, I
Because the
guess.
search is in the middle.
Make me the world.
Yeah, I
Toolbar.
guess.
Search field.
So you get it saying it's a
Double tap to
toolbar, and then
Dictate. Compose.
Yeah,
Dictate search.
okay.
Toggle filter. Off.
yeah,
But
I don't like it.
if you feel behind where that stuff is, then you can hear literally what it's on top of.
Yeah,
So.
I don't like it.
Cory doesn't like it. Tim, please, back to the drawing board. You have got work to do.
Well, I just yeah, I don't know. I tend to like the toolbars or
Have it
tabs
be a defined area.
to be a defined area. I get it. I get the floating like visually, but
Yes.
not a big fan.
It's a whole new design
Yeah.
language. Ewan Ferreira says hey, and we say hey back.
Hey,
Although I think, if I'm not mistaken, he spelled it H-A-Y, so I don't know if he's trying to tell us that, he is gathering in the hay for the animals.
oh maybe.
Or he's asking if we would like to buy some hay. Or maybe it's because I said I've got allergies, which in
That could
England
be
we
too.
call hay fever. Do you call that hay fever here?
I've heard hay fever, but I didn't know it was allergy related. Yeah, I guess
that's
so.
what we call it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ewan sounds like a Welsh name, but Ewan, if you are from Wales, let us know. Ferreira doesn't know, it sounds like Italian, so I'm not sure. Let us know where you are, Ewan. Thank you for... say again?
Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, yes, yes, you are a worldwide viewer. Please let us know where you're from and tell us a little bit about yourself. All right, so Cory, you
Yes.
successfully managed to locate the important things, but did have a little more trouble.
Didn't like. Yeah, wasn't a big fan.
No. Let's check out something else with the old podcast app.
Oh, okay. I never used the podcast app.
Have you literally never used it?
I use Overcast as my podcast app. Is yours on your home screen?
The podcast app is on the home screen. Yeah, you can, I'll tell you where it is because that's not really part of the test. It's going to be the second down from the top right.
Experience.
One up from there. There you
Podcasts.
go.
All right, so this will be interesting because I never
Podcasts.
used the podcast app.
This isn't really going to be a fair test if you never use
No.
it. But let's just try from what you've learned so far.
That and it's a new, maybe learn how to do something new.
Yeah.
So, okay, what am I doing?
If I wanted you to search for a podcast, what would you do?
I would start in the top left and see if I can find either a search or an add button, something like that to put a new podcast.
All right, let's give it a try.
Heading.
So we got home. So I'll go to the left, nothing.
Heading. Account settings. Button. Up next. Button. The Cane and Rinse Spawn Cap. Cane and Rinse
Okay.
Patterns.
So now as I
Stories.
swipe, I'm getting podcasts here.
Correct.
So I'm guessing that there's nothing here. So now I would come down to the bottom instead and check down.
Now, let me
there.
ask you this question, Cory. When you were in the...
The floating thing again.
no.
sorry.
When you were in the phone app, where was that search?
Down in the bottom right corner. Yeah. So I'm guessing maybe they have tab.
Selected. Home.
So
tab.
home.
New. Library. Search.
Yep,
tab.
there we go.
5 of
Hey.
6.
Okay, so 6 tabs in here.
So I guess that new design thing is like search in the bottom right?
Yeah, maybe.
Search. Search.
Well-
tab. 5 of 6.
Dude, it says search tab.
5 of 6, but you can't go any further?
Yeah, there's no 6.
Search.
1,
Tab.
2,
Library.
3,
New.
4.
Selected. Home.
And there's
tab.
4.
1 of 6.
There's 4 tabs.
It says 5 of 6.
Yeah, I don't know what.
New.
I don't know what.
Selected.
That's
Home.
weird.
Tab. 1 of 6.
That's 1.
New. Tab. 3 of 6.
Oh,
I
okay.
missed 2.
Sweet.
I don't know what happened to 2.
Yeah, 2 disappeared.
So, yeah, anyways.
Hey, do me a favor. Swipe to the left twice.
So go forward 30 seconds. Button.
Okay, I wanted to see if this was part of the tab bar. There's like a floating,
Player controls?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Play. June 17.
Yeah, sure.
Play. Go forward 30.
Interesting.
So here I would probably
Go
do a
forward,
search.
tab bar. Search. Tab.
And now,
Selected.
most
Search.
likely, up at the top center, I probably have a search field.
Give it a
Top
try.
charts. Button. Search. Heading. Account set. Top
maybe not.
charts.
So here's the thing.
So it's
Everything
not
that was
here.
once at the top.
I'm gonna now. So my instinct was top. Now I'm gonna come down to the bottom,
Exactly,
like
yeah.
the same way the other one was.
Jared Leto shows. Tab. Jared Leto show. Tab shows.
No.
Jared Leto
Oh, yeah,
shows.
that's it.
Episodes.
Oh, there we
and
go.
more.
Sorry.
Search field.
Okay, there you go.
Double
we'll
tap
do
to
that.
search field.
Tech Vision Forward Tech Connect.
Inserted tech vision forward tech
Is
tag.
that what I meant to do?
Close.
Sure, that
Button.
sounds
Padding
good.
Left.
So how do I
Use
see?
the search.
Search, bottom
Search.
right corner, and now
In
it's top center.
focus. Low vision.
Oh, that's our old one.
In focus.
All right.
Look,
Do we have our new one?
In focus. Vision forwards tech connect.
There we go.
09/08.
There you go. Yay!
You did it.
I'm so good.
However, it did throw you a little bit because you were expecting stuff to be at the top.
Yeah.
So the general language seems to have been just moving stuff to the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, and then in 27, they'll move it back up to the top.
Yeah, and then maybe in the middle, maybe
Yeah,
to the left, maybe to the right.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just get rid of it in 30.
In 30, it will just be implanted in the brain, and you won't need
Yeah,
to worry
there you
about
go.
any of this.
There you go.
Ewan says, I have subscribed. Thank you very much, Ewan.
Thanks.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate that.
Let's do one more app, Cory.
Yes.
And then we'll round this. We'll round this up. So let's do
Hit
the
me.
Messages app because obviously the Messages
Photos.
is a pretty
Featured
important app.
photo
Bottom right,
top.
Cory. I will
Tap,
let you know
tap,
it's in the
go.
bottom right there.
Messages. 2 unread message.
Gotcha.
2 unread.
Messages.
Oh my gosh, Cory! Before we do anything.
I thought I was blocking the screen.
No, you're fine.
The way you were like, oh
no,
my.
no, this is good. This
Okay.
is good. Before you do anything, I want you to locate and have the first message read aloud to me.
All right, well, okay.
You don't need to open it. It should read it right from
Yeah,
the inbox.
typically I would touch almost to the top, not all the way.
Edit. Button. Conversations. Max. Unread. Your Jimmy John's order.
Oh!
Way to go, Max.
All right, we got to end the show here, I'm afraid, everybody.
Jimmy John's is here.
Jimmy
Bye, all.
John's is here.
Thank you.
Okay, so good job. I don't think that has changed per se. But
No,
let's say,
nope, that looked
Cory,
good.
let's say that I wanted to search my messages. How would I go about doing that?
Well, again, back in the day, it was up
Yeah.
top, but now I'm guessing either there's a floating search here already, or there's going to be a search tab.
Sure.
But I think in this case, I'm going to check the floating first.
Peter. Search. Search
There it is.
field.
Yep.
Hey.
So yeah, so floating this time, no dedicated search
We are
tab.
discovering patterns here. Now, Cory, if I wanted you to create a new message or compose a message,
I
where am
believe on text messages it was in the top right corner. It's been so long since.
Filter. Button.
No.
Filter.
So I'll
button.
check in the bottom right.
Converse.
Oh, there it was.
compose.
Maybe it was in the bottom. It's you know how it's like sometimes you just do stuff,
Yeah.
and then when you
Without
actually have
thinking
to
about it,
stop
yeah.
and think, you're like, I don't remember now.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't remember, and I only updated to iOS 26 like a couple of weeks ago. I already don't remember.
I think maybe it was down at the bottom. Yeah, I don't. Now I can't think of it, but
Well, the good news is that the compose button for both the emails and the messages is in a consistent place.
Yes.
That will be down the bottom, and the search box, search bar.
so
is,
when
down
were they?
bottom
When will
center.
they combine email and text messages?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah.
It'll just be messages in general, and you can it's unified, and you can search them, and
I actually think that wouldn't be too bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just call it text rather than just messages.
Please say that again, Jonathan.
Well, they might just call it text rather than messages.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
text in general.
Yeah.
Or people
Although that, I
trying
think,
trying to get in touch with you.
I think
Can they
text
just
might
combine
get people.
everything? Phone calls, text messages,
Why
emails.
don't they just have one app for everything?
Yeah, just one app.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
one app to rule them all. You open it and it just explodes.
Across
with
the bottom,
content.
there's 200 tabs that you have to, you have to
This
pick
is the
from.
future. It's all in the name of efficiency, people. If we only have one app to use, then obviously it's easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Isn't that how
One app with 700 submenus. We just don't talk about that. though.
Don't worry about those. Okay.
Good.
Cool. You did good.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Actually, I do want to do one more thing.
Okay.
Because I actually don't know if this has changed or not, but we're going to find out. It's the control center.
Photos. Featured photo. Control center. Airplane mode. Switch.
So from here, that's normal. Now I would just swipe right through them.
AirDrop. Wi-Fi. More control. Lock rotation.
So that's
Mute.
pretty much
Seems
the
the
same.
same.
Brightness.
Yeah.
90s lock
But
But
rotation.
here's what I think is interesting. Because they're doing this new design language,
Yes.
if I was swiping, but if I explore by touch,
Yeah.
am I going to get
the
random
background,
stuff
yeah.
in the background?
Previous. Lock rotation. Volume. More Wi-Fi.
No.
Seems
Flash.
okay.
Focus. Volume. Screen
Yeah.
recap focus.
So yeah, good.
Lock rotation.
Because that was one of the things I was sort of worried about with this liquid glass was
Yeah.
since it's floating and you can see behind it, is VoiceOver is it getting? And it was sort of mixed together in the email app. Remember
yes. Yep.
so
Yep.
I was a little nervous that Control Center or notification would be the same, but it does appear that it kind of
Now,
puts it in
one of the
focus.
things that they did visually in Control Center is previously on the first beta, you could see the entire kind of home screen of your phone behind the Control Center.
Ugh.
And that was really confusing people visually. So now it's still there, but they blurred it out.
Good.
Yeah, and it works. It does the job.
Okay.
Cory, did you know that I did 500 crunches yesterday?
You want me to check the health app to make sure that that's true?
Well, the thing is, it takes a lot to get through a bag of Doritos.
I was just gonna say how many
You get it?
how
You
many
get
chips
it?
were you eating in your
Yeah.
country?
My wife told me that one yesterday. I thought it was quite good.
I love that. Do you and your wife just sit and like try to tell each other the most?
For the most part, I try and tell her
goofy-
jokes, and she just gives me withering looks. But she
Yes.
actually, recently, she's been driving past a place that displays jokes on an electronic board.
Oh,
outside.
that's kind of clever.
Yeah, so she's been coming back at me with some terrible jokes.
Some dad jokes.
Some dad jokes, and those are the best.
Yep, I agree.
Talking of which,
You gotta go call your dad or what?
I'm trying to think of a segue, and I got nothing.
Thinking of which, my dad likes Jimmy John's, and so do I, and I've got it waiting.
I think that's all that we need to look at. But I think the point here is that I guess iOS, and we didn't know what it was going to be like before we tried this, but it seems like iOS 26 is not too hard with VoiceOver.
No, I think it's fine, and I think the point of today was trying to show what are some tips that maybe you can use to explore an unfamiliar app and to learn and to pay attention, because you'll start to see some consistency and it gives you some tips on going, okay, I want to check the top, the bottom, the corners, and you can implement that. And it doesn't have to just be when Apple updates iOS. It can be anytime you download a new app. I utilize sort of the same framework to try to figure out a new app when I get it. So
I do want to try one more thing,
Okay.
because I was having problems with this before.
My Jimmy John's better not be sitting there.
Featured
Oh,
I'm just
Cory
kidding.
gets very upset if the
It's
ice
horrible.
melts
My ice melts.
in his coat.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
this will be quick.
Gotcha. What do you got?
Let's go to the what do they even call it? The app library.
Oh, way at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last page.
Is there
Notes. Page 2 of 4. Page 3. Page 4 of 4. AXS. Showing app library.
Okay.
App library.
Go into the main kind of body.
Photos.
Okay, and do a 3-finger swipe up
Double
to
tap to
scroll.
open. Page 3 of 3.
Now, locate the Maps app, and I'm going to tell you where it is. It's going to be toward the top right of the screen currently.
Travel.
Next to that, to the left of that, to the left of that.
Maps.
No. Oh,
tap to
okay.
open.
No, I didn't want you to swipe. Okay, do a 3-finger
Skip.
swipe up again.
To page 3 of 3.
Oh, I don't think we can do it anymore. Hold on, I'm going to get this position.
Finance. Page 1 of page 1 of 3. Page 3 of
good?
Okay, without doing the swipe,
Okay.
feel for the Maps app.
app library.
Down a
Travel.
little.
Creativity.
There, you're on it, you're on it, you're on it.
Travel.
There.
Creativity.
Oh, no,
Travel.
there.
Maps.
Okay.
Double tap to open.
We're on the Maps app, correct?
I don't like that it said travel. It's like categorizing them or
Yes, it
something.
is,
I don't
which
like
it does. I mean, I think it does that by
I don't like it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, because I don't say travel first. I want
Right, 'cause then
I
you
want
swipe
maps.
left.
Yeah.
Right,
Anyways, go ahead.
Mr. Impatient over here.
Dude, when you are a screen reader user, there is nothing worse than hearing junk you don't need.
That's fair.
And hearing it first.
That is fair.
But continue. Yes.
Okay. Open apps, please. Maps.
Travel. United.
What?
Double
What?
tap to open.
Find the Maps app again.
App library. Search for travel. Maps.
Open it.
It's
Double
not a
tap
button.
to open.
Oh, it is. Doesn't work.
Travel.
It doesn't
United.
work.
Yeah.
Genius.
Double
This
tap
isn't.
to
I
open.
will point out this is not a specific VoiceOver problem. this is a problem that I just randomly noticed before we started the show. If you have scrolled the screen and the app that you're trying to open is partly in, so part of the design language for Liquid Glass is there is a blurred area at the top and the bottom of the screen, and as you scroll the screen, stuff scrolls through this kind of glassy blurred area. So the Maps app is currently half in that glassy blurred area and half out of it, and you just can't, and I assume it's the same with the other apps that are in the same position, you just can't open them without scrolling the screen.
What? And that's ridiculous for VoiceOver, because VoiceOver sees it. Like,
I know,
it doesn't.
that's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't know visually that.
Nope. So a little bit confusing.
I'm calling Android. Dear Android.
1-800-Android.
I told you I was complaining about Android this morning because I cannot double tap.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it.
It's very strange because you can double tap like a champ on iOS.
I would love to do a Tech Connect Live where if we could get our hands on 10 different Android phones.
Yeah.
And I guarantee on every one I won't be able to double tap.
Well, we don't need to do the show then. We already know what's going to happen.
It's the craziest thing. I don't get it. I literally, when I use Android, I can swipe, and then when I go to double tap, I have to do. Let me just.
Meet. YouTube.
I have to. I'm trying to.
Feed dog. Duck,
Okay, so I feel it, and then I go.
Double tap to open.
Like I have to do it super pronounced.
Open.
It's just ridiculous.
I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't want to blame Android.
Please put in the comments. Does anyone using Android? Do you have an issue? Your single finger double
should ask
tap.
Carrie.
I will.
Yeah.
I mean, people are using it, so they must. Nobody's living with this.
I think you're the only person who
Do I
has
not
one.
have capacity? Like, am I dead? Do I have no electricity?
Well, the
running?
thing is, though, on most other devices, you're able to operate them okay, and I'm not. Like, I feel like there's been a bunch of devices where you have to swipe, and I just, for some reason, it just doesn't work for me.
That's true. I don't know what it is. Anyways.
Anyway.
iOS 26.
Ewan says, can you please make a video on how to remove a game from your Steam purchase history? Unfortunately, not that is outside of our purview, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we apologize that we are not Steam gamers.
I mean,
you are, but I meant our channel and
that's outside of our channel's permits. But anyway, that's the end of that. So thank you, everybody. Shame we didn't get some more in the chat there.
But you know what? Maybe everyone was so engaged to what we were saying that they couldn't type.
We're gonna say that that's what was going on.
Maybe they're using iOS 26 and they couldn't find the comment. It's floating. It's floating at the bottom, everybody.
If you are thinking about upgrading to iOS 26 and you're a VoiceOver user, I would say, it doesn't seem too bad. There might be a little bit of adjusting, but in general, it seems like it's probably going to be feasible. So,
yeah, and I think I probably wouldn't sign up for the developer unless you really want to get into testing betas and provide feedback to Apple. Otherwise, I'd wait until the release comes.
Exactly.
And when it's released, we'll do another kind of updated little something, just letting people know. Does it look stable? Should we try it?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. With that being said, happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow, and we will look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Do check out our video, our produced video next week, where we will actually be looking at Liquid Glass from a low vision perspective.
Yes. Is it the end of the world?
Could be.
Or is it not?
Let's find out.
Tune in and find out on Thursday, July 10th.
Very good. About 3
p.m.
o'clock. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another Tech Connect Live. If you enjoyed Cory and Luke's antics, be sure to join us next time. For all things Tech Connect, go to vision-forward.org/techconnect.